Here we have the PACCON terminals, male and female. Now, you'll find these throughout our classic update harnesses on the rear body disconnect, the steering column turn signal switch disconnect, and the instrument cluster disconnect. So they're pretty common throughout this harness. And basically, removal for these, you actually need a smaller screwdriver than you do for the 56s. This is a 5/64 flathead. It's a common eyeglass screwdriver you can get pretty much any hardware store. Now, what I wanted to point out on these, why I have them out, you'll actually see that the tab that releases the female from the connector is right here. It's this angled one. You have a straight one and an angled one. Now, if you take notice, the crimp side right here on the top in relation to this. So if you're looking at the crimp side from the wire entry side, you'll see this on the left side. Now just keep that in mind, because that's going to be important when you look down in this connector. It's actually really hard to see in there when they're installed. So just keep in mind that crimp side, this is the edge of the terminal that's curled over onto the wire in relation to where this is. And that is just a flat locating pin that helps it slide in straight. Now in the male, you'll see same thing. Crimp side is the same side as the release tab. And this here, it might be kind of hard to see, but that tab actually has to, when you go into the connector, you have to bend this down to pull it out of the back side of the connector. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinstall these in the connector. This is the PACCON male here. And you can actually hear it click when it gets reinstalled. It's locked in tight. Now, if you take a look at the back side of this connector, you're going to see, you can see in here where it's curled over from when it was crimped. Now when you see the side that's curled over, you know that's the side that has to be released. So you can see here, it's curled over on this side. Flip it over, you know that's going to be this top side here. Go in with your eyeglass screwdriver, and this is a lot tighter than the 56 series I showed you earlier. Release the tab, pull the terminal out the back side, and there you go, it's released. And of course, just like the other terminals, you have to bend the tab back up before you go to reinstall it so it locks in properly. It's bent back up, line it back up into the connector, lock it in, wait to hear the click. There you go. Now the female side, like I said before, it's a little trickier. These can only go into this connector one way, because you'll see it's like a T-shaped configuration here. Now if you look down the back side of the terminal, when it goes to enter in, it might be kind of hard to pick up on the camera, but you'll see that the locking tab and the alignment tab are on the top half of this terminal. The bottom half of it, there isn't anything. It only takes up half of the terminal. So when you go to reinstall this, you'll see that T-shaped configuration. You line it up, slide it in, you hear the click, it's locked in. Now, knowing what I told you earlier, the crimp side is on the top side, so it's on the top side of that capital T-shaped cavity. Knowing that, you know the release tab will be on the left side here, but when you go over and turn it around, it'll now be on the right side. So knowing that, you slide your eyeglass screwdriver, release the tab, pull the terminal out. There you go. It's easy as that. The locking tang is now straight, so it won't lock back into the connector. You have to actually bend this back out before you put it back into the connector. And it'll actually lock back in to the connector. Nice and tight.